Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that sounds, well, a little intense, nail chemistry. But I promise we're going to make this super simple and clear.
So let me ask you, does hearing nail chemistry immediately make you think of complicated high school science class? Yeah, you're not alone. It sounds way more complicated than it actually is, and we're about to fix that.
And this is the key right here. This is our golden rule for today. Think about it. If you can follow a recipe, if you know which cleaning product to use for a certain job, you've already got the basic skills for this. It's just mixing and reactions.
So here's my promise. In just the next few minutes, you're going to feel so much more confident about this stuff. You'll get the science behind what makes a manicure not just beautiful, but safe. All right, let's jump in.
Okay, first up, we're talking about the OG, acrylics. The magic here really comes down to a perfect mix of two key things to create that strong, durable nail we all know. Let's break down what those are.
The first part of our recipe is the monomer. It's the liquid. That's it. Just remember, monomer equals the wet stuff, the liquid that the nail tech dips their brush into.
And for every wet ingredient, you need a dry one, right? Well, that's our polymer. It's that superfine powder. You mix the wet monomer with the dry polymer, and that's how you start to build an acrylic nail. See? Simple.
And here's a great little trick to remember which is which. Mono means one, for the one liquid. Poly means many, for the many, many tiny particles in the powder. It's a super easy way to keep them straight. So how does that soupy little bead of liquid and powder turn into a rock-solid nail? It's a process called polymerization. See, there's an initiator in the powder that kicks the whole thing off. Then, a catalyst in the liquid acts like a gas pedal, speeding that reaction way up. All those molecules start linking up, forming these long, strong chains, and boom, you've got a hard acrylic nail. It's why that mix ratio is so critical.
All right, let's switch gears from acrylics over to gels. The final product might seem similar, a strong, gorgeous nail, but how we get there is a totally different chemical story.
This chart lays it out perfectly. With acrylics, you're playing chemist, mixing the liquid and powder yourself. Gels, they come pre-mixed in that little pot. But the biggest difference of all is how they harden. Acrylics cure just by being exposed to air, while gels need that special LED or UV lamp to do their thing.
And that hardening process for gels is called cross-linking. When that gel goes under the lamp, the molecules don't just form simple chains like in acrylics. No, they form a super strong, crisscrossing, mesh-like structure. Imagine a net. That's what makes gels so incredibly durable but also flexible.
You ever touch your nails right after they come out of the lamp and feel that little bit of stickiness? That's called the inhibition layer. Don't worry, it's completely normal. In fact, it's a good sign. It means the gel cured properly. A quick wipe with some alcohol, and it's gone. Okay, we've talked about how acrylics and gels work. Now for what is honestly the most important part of this whole conversation. It's not just about a pretty manicure. It's about being safe for both the client and the tech.
So, let's talk monomers again. There are two kinds, and this is critical. EMA, that's ethyl methacrylate, is the good stuff. It's safe, flexible, and approved for use in the nail industry. Then there's MMA, or methyl methacrylate. This stuff is banned. It's dangerous. It's way too rigid, and it can cause serious long-term damage to your natural nails.
Honestly, it doesn't get any simpler or more important than this. If you remember one thing about safety today, make it this. MMA is always, always a no. Period.
So why are we so focused on using the right stuff and applying it correctly? Well, it's because of something called overexposure. This isn't about a one-time accident. It's what happens when these chemicals repeatedly touch your skin over time. That contact can build up and lead to some really nasty skin irritation or even permanent allergies. The good news? It's totally preventable. So here are the absolute must-dos. You've got to avoid skin contact, you need good ventilation for the vapors, no double-dipping brushes because that contaminates your product, and you have to prep the nail right, using a dehydrator and just a tiny bit of primer to make sure the product sticks without damaging anything. These aren't just tips, they are the fundamental rules of safe nail care.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Polymerization, cross-linking, monomers, primers, but let's bring it all home. Why does any of this chemistry actually matter to you? Because knowing this stuff is your power. It's your protection. It means you can spot red flags, you can choose salons that use safe, legal products like EMA, and you'll understand why a good technician is so careful. You're no longer just a customer. You're an informed client who can advocate for your own nail health. And that's really the whole point, isn't it?
When you break it down, it's not so scary. It actually makes sense. You can understand this. And now you basically have.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you're armed with all this knowledge, what are you going to look for the next time you get your nails done? What questions might you ask your tech? Your nail health is literally in your hands, and now you know exactly how to protect it. Thanks so much for watching.